So I've been wanting to talk about biker image now for a while. And when I say biker image, I'm not talking about the behaviors that are associated with bikers, although that is probably a topic for another day. But no, right now anyway, I'm talking about the actual physical biker image in terms of the way bikers look. And I just think that it's interesting that a lot of people feel like they need to live up to a biker image. They have to live up, and again, we'll talk about behaviors some other time. I'm not talking about behaviors right now. All I'm talking about is the look. And I've had people tell me, so this hits home for me because I ride my 2002 Honda Shadow Sabre, my cruiser, my awesome, reliable little beast of a bike. And sometimes people tell me, they said, man, your look doesn't fit the bike. I mean, you wear this full face helmet, you wear this full leather jacket with armor, and not only that, it's high vis. I mean, and it's a little bit more of a race style. And so, you know, I've had people tell me like, man, hey, you don't really fit that bike, you know? And it's like, wait a minute, what do you mean I don't fit that bike? Like, how is it that your clothes, your gear dictate what kind of bike you are on, or vice versa, that the bike you're wearing, that the bike you're riding dictates the kind of gear or the style of gear that you're wearing. Now, let me be real. There's certain kind of gear that is more suited, that is better suited for certain types of rides, right? Certain types of bikes. I mean, and certain types of riding styles. So don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that, you know, all gear is for all bikes necessarily. And so, but what I am saying is that it doesn't have to dictate the way that you look just because you're riding a certain type of bike. Riding a certain type of motorcycle doesn't mean that you only have to wear certain types of gear. Now again, you know, certain types of gear is better suited for certain types of riding. So for example, let's take your helmet. You know, I've got my Shoei Quest helmet, and this helmet is probably better suited for a little bit more of an upright seating position, right? And part of the reason why is because of the positioning of the vents, the aerodynamics of the helmet itself. Other helmets are more suited for sport bike riding, that are better suited for a more leaned over position, or a more tucked position, I guess, if you will. I mean, that's real. I mean, same thing with jackets and things like that in terms of where the vents are located, and you know, so I think a little less of I think that plays a little bit less of a factor when it comes to jackets. You know, I think a helmet aerodynamically and vents, I mean, that makes sense. But I mean, it's not like, you know, you are riding either on a track all the time and racing and need that kind of gear to help you stay aerodynamic, or, you know, you're not going on these big old long road trips every single day, you know, that you need to wear certain gear that's better suited for long road trips, you know, aerodynamically. I mean, I guess my point is that, you know, just because you ride a cruiser, you know, doesn't mean, and that's what I'm mostly talking about, cruiser riders. Just because you're riding a cruiser doesn't mean that you have to stay away from certain kinds of gear, you know? just because you ride a cruiser doesn't mean that you only have to wear your cut, you know, wear your little vest or wear your chaps, you know. And I'm not saying anything wrong with the cuts. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the vests. I'm just saying that just because you ride a cruiser doesn't mean that you have to only wear that. If you want to wear your cut, wear your cut. If you want to wear your chaps, wear your chaps. You know, I'm not downing any of that. I'm saying that you don't have to wear that. You know, don't feel like just because you ride a certain kind of bike, you have to wear certain kinds of gear, a certain style of gear, that is. You know, you know, for me, number one on my list is safety and safe gear. You know, I want gear that's gonna protect me in the event of a crash. You know, that's number one priority. Second, beyond that, for me is gear that feels comfortable, gear that fits you well, gear that fits your body, you know. And I've tried on all kinds of different gear before I settle on something. So jackets, helmets, you know, I mean, I'll try on a whole bunch of different kinds before I actually settle and decide that I want to wear this particular style of jacket or this particular helmet. You know, it took me a while to find this helmet, for example. You know, I needed something that fit me well. And, you know, I plan to do a video one of these days about helmets and the fitment of helmets and from my experience, what I went through. But for now, you know, I think that it's just important to keep in mind that you just don't have to, or at least for me, you know, you don't have to be a lemming. You don't have to follow the crowd. You don't have to follow the leader. And just because everybody else says you got to do this and that, you have to do it. And again, that's just my own opinion. That's the way I choose to ride. You know, I've had people kind of giggle and chuckle, you know, when they see me come out on my gear and get on my cruiser, you know, or, you know, if I get on another cruiser, another bike that doesn't fit this look, you know, I've had people kind of giggle and chuckle or tease me, and it's been multiple people, you know, so it's not like it's just one person. I've had this happen many times, and that's kind of what spurred me to talk about this topic. But final words: don't be a lemming, be yourself. You know, don't follow into a predestined mold. You create your own mold. You do your own thing. Be safe, you know, be comfortable, have a style that fits you, and don't be afraid to express that. So with that, people, make sure when you're out here, make sure to ride safe, ride with care, and of course, ride with confidence. Head up, baby, 100%. This is SoopaBee. Man, yesterday we took a corner. We're in a roundabout, actually, and man, I started scraping some pegs. It was nice. It was I mean, it was because I was just leaned over so far that I was scraping some pegs.